Welcome back to Unitour Talks. Today we're doing a deep dive into Morocco, especially for you event planners,
Hmm.
searching for that perfect blend, tradition meets modernity.
That's right. We've been looking at several reports and articles, things like Cannes 2025, Le Maroc Mobilisé
Hmm.
from a Moroccan news source, pieces from Tourisme Post, Maroc.ma, La Manta, quite a bit of material.
And our mission today really is to unpack how Morocco is using the upcoming Africa Cup of Nations Cannes 2025 to basically boost its appeal for big events.
Exactly. Especially for those of you wanting to offer attendees something, well, unique, that mix of heritage and what's new. So let's dive in. What's kicking all this off?
Well, it really seems to center around Morocco hosting Cannes 2025, doesn't it? The tournament's set for what? Late December 2025 to mid-January 2026?
Yep, December 21st to January 18th.
Okay. And it feels like more than just a football tournament. It's a massive stage for Morocco to show off its organizational skills, its logistics.
Absolutely, on a continental scale. And interestingly, it's also being framed as a sort of dress rehearsal.
For the World Cup?
Exactly. The 2030 FIFA World Cup, they're co-hosting with Spain and Portugal, so the pressure's on. They want Cannes 2025 to be, I think the term used was irreproachable.
Wow. Irreproachable and exemplary. That's setting the bar high.
It definitely signals serious intent. They want to be seen as a top-tier host for major global events.
Okay, so ambition like that needs some serious groundwork. I
Yeah.
saw mentions of a huge number of projects. What's the scale we're talking about?
It's pretty massive, over 120 projects. Construction, renovation, development.
120.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's not just in one place. It's spread across the 6 host cities: Casablanca, Rabat, Tangier, Fez, Marrakech, and Agadir.
So a really nationwide push.
Definitely. It shows a big commitment.
And the deadline feels incredibly tight.
It is. December 2025 is the target for everything, which, is right before the games start.
Cutting it fine. How are they managing that?
Well, there was a big high-level meeting in Rabat at the Interior Ministry. Key ministers, regional governors from all those cities.
Yeah.
Seems like top-level priority.
So everyone's pulling in the same direction, hopefully.
Looks like it. And it wasn't just government folks.
Ah, right. I remember reading about others involved.
Yeah, the national bodies, like the railway guys, ONCF, the Airports Authority, ONDA, even the telecom regulator, ANRT, and the Sports Infrastructure Authority.
Okay, so a coordinated effort across the board. Transport, comms, construction.
It really seems comprehensive, trying to cover all the bases.
Makes sense. So looking at these projects, is it mainly about the stadiums, getting those ready?
The stadiums are definitely a huge focus, yeah. Construction, renovations, they need to meet CCAF standards, the Confederation of African Football.
Right.
And sources say that's on track. We're talking new facilities and major upgrades to existing ones. Think better hospitality suites, media centers, stuff that's actually useful for other types of events too, not just football.
That's a good point. Future-proofing, almost. But what about outside the stadiums? The visitor experience in the cities?
That's a big part of it too. There's this ambitious urban development program running alongside the stadium work.
Okay, what does that involve? Just sprucing things up?
More than that, really. It's about modernizing the areas around the venues. So, road repairs, improving access, better signage, which is always crucial, public lighting upgrades, pedestrian zones.
Making it easier and nicer to get around?
Exactly. And adding more green spaces, too. It's about the whole experience for anyone attending, making it smooth and, well, pleasant.
And handling the influx of people. Transport must be key.
Oh, absolutely. Regional airports are getting modernized to cope with more passengers.
Yeah.
And the ONCF, the railway, is boosting connections between those host cities. Better train links to make traveling inside Morocco easier for everyone coming for the event.
Okay, so the hard infrastructure, stadiums, roads, airports, trains, is getting a major overhaul. But I also saw stuff about the softer side, culture, atmosphere.
Yeah, they're definitely not forgetting that. There's a big push to enhance the cultural and festive vibe during the SAN. Plans for things like street entertainment, concerts featuring Moroccan artists, presumably exhibitions showcasing local heritage, other arts events, really bringing the cities alive.
So it's about leveraging Morocco's cultural identity.
Totally. Give visitors a memorable experience beyond just the 90 minutes of football. That's something event planners like you can definitely tap into, that authentic local flavor combined with the excitement.
It sounds very strategic. Using the event to boost tourism overall.
Precisely. Cannes 2025 is seen as this pivotal moment to really elevate Morocco on the world tourism map. Hosting should obviously drive up demand for hotels, transport, restaurants, tours, all that.
And the idea is that these improvements stick around, right? It's not just for the tourists.
That's the plan. The infrastructure upgrades are meant to strengthen the country's long-term appeal for tourism and, importantly, for future events. Plus, think about the global media exposure.
Huge visibility.
Exactly. Showcasing Morocco's culture, its landscapes, its cities to potentially millions, that could attract visitors for years. And, a successful Cannes makes Morocco look good for hosting other big international events down the line. Sports, conferences, you name it.
It sounds like the National Tourism Office, the ONMT, is right in the thick of this.
Oh, absolutely. They've launched a specific strategy just for Cannes 2025. Very proactive.
What does that involve?
Well, a key thing was this mega-fam trip back in April.
Ah, yes. Familiarization trip for...
Were African tour operators. They brought in people from Senegal, Ivory Coast, Nigeria, Ghana, DRC, Cameroon, a whole list of countries.
Wow, a proper Pan-African approach.
Definitely. And they held workshops during the trip connecting those operators directly with Moroccan tourism businesses.
Smart. What was the goal there? Just networking?
Networking, yes, but also practical stuff. Negotiating travel packages specifically for Cannes 2025, showing off the diversity of what Morocco offers beyond the obvious tourist spots, and, crucially, getting feedback from those African operators. What do their clients want? What are the demands?
Gathering market intelligence. Makes sense.
Adapting the offering.
And wasn't there a European angle, too?
You got it. There's a European roadshow planned as well, targeting countries with large African diaspora communities.
Okay, why that specific focus?
Well, the idea is to reach people who might have ties to Africa and be interested in traveling for Cannes, maybe combining it with visiting family or exploring heritage. So the ONMT delegations in Europe will work with travel agents there to promote Morocco and specific Cannes travel packages.
So hitting it from both sides, direct promotion in Africa and reaching out via the diaspora in Europe. Very comprehensive.
It really shows they're thinking strategically about maximizing the tourism impact and potentially attracting a wider range of international events later on.
And beyond tourism, what about the local economy? Are the regions hosting expected to see a boost?
That's definitely part of the plan. The government statements emphasize stimulating economic development both regionally and nationally.
No.
The idea is that the Moroccan economy, especially young people, should benefit directly. Think jobs in construction, hospitality, transport, services, all the activities surrounding the event.
So getting the infrastructure ready on time isn't just about the tournament looking good.
No, it's also tied to delivering those economic benefits and, frankly, upholding Morocco's reputation internationally as a place that can get things done.
It's really fascinating stuff, seeing how one major sporting event can be this massive catalyst for development across so many sectors. It really paints a picture of a country investing heavily in its future as an event destination.
Absolutely. For you event planners listening, it highlights a destination that's not just resting on its, historical charm. It's actively building modern capabilities, improving connectivity, and focusing on that whole visitor experience, blending culture with the new infrastructure.
Yeah, it's a strong signal of readiness and ambition.
Yeah.
Morocco seems to be saying, we're open for business and we can handle world-class events.
That's the message loud and clear.
Well, thanks for walking us through all that. It's been a really insightful look at Morocco's preparations for Cannes 2025 and what it means for the bigger picture, especially for planning future events there. We hope this has given you some valuable perspectives on that unique Moroccan mix of old and new.
It really has been interesting to see the strategy unfold, a very proactive approach.
If you found this deep dive useful, maybe consider leaving us a 5-star rating. It helps others find us. And you can catch Unitour Talks on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube Podcasts, wherever you get your audio fix.
Definitely worth keeping an eye on Morocco.
Absolutely. Seeing a country leverage a specific event like this so strategically, it does make you think. What other kinds of opportunities, maybe less obvious ones, could destinations use to really elevate their global profile? Something to ponder.
Good question.
Until next time, keep exploring those possibilities.